Hey beautiful beaders, it's Gina from Orchid and Opal.com, and I'm back today with two of the bead clubs from the Beads of the Month Club, the 2-hole beads and the hot and trendy beads. And these are both single clubs. They have double and single versions of them. So these are the smaller of the size. They both come with 8 containers of check glass beads. And they happen to be two of my favorite clubs that they have to offer. They've got all different ones. I've shared them here quite a bit. And I suggest you check out their website for all the details. So I will leave that down below the video. And I have a coupon code which will save you 10% off the first month of your first club if you'd like to try them out. And that code is OPAL10, OPAL10, and I will leave that down below as well. So if you are a beader who is more on the adventurous side, you love bead weaving, you like getting a monthly surprise, I highly suggest these clubs. We'll start out with the 2-hole just because I had that on top. And you can see that we have a theme, which is Lilac Lane. And on the front of our bag, we have a list of everything that's included in this particular club, including the product names, the quantity, and the retail price. If you use that coupon code that I provided, it will alert them that you're one of my viewers. So if you did subscribe to one of these clubs, they will try to get you on the same rotation and try to send you the same theme as me. However, that could change depending on their stock levels and availability, just to be upfront with you guys about that. But I am dying to see what we have in store for this club. I'm going to do our flip over. Oh, wow. Lots of beautiful purples and then some accent colors in all different interesting shapes. So I'm going to take these out and we will take a closer look at each of these containers. All right, to start out with our 2-hole beads of the month club in this theme, I received these pastel lime SO beads. So these are really interesting. They look like a little owl's face. Let's take these out and get a closer look. And they kind of remind me of a 2-hole lentil and a super duo if you mix them together, and this would be the result. You can see they kind of have that pinch shape that a super duo does, but they have a rounder front face and back. So a really interesting 2-hole shape that I haven't really played with much before. This is a beautiful color. It's kind of a neutral. It's a satiny golden tone that I think would work well with a lot of different things. The next container, another very interesting shape. These are the Zorro beads in the color alabaster. Another shape I haven't really played around with. You can see that Z-like shape. And we have this stark white but sort of translucent color glass. Here's a little handful of the Zorro beads. You can see the 2 holes running parallel through the top and the base. These are definitely a little bit more of an obscure 2-hole shape, but I always find those types of things a fun and interesting challenge. I like working with different things. And something I'm going to try to do is leave a link to a blog post down below. I'm going to try to create a blog post with some links to different video tutorials or free online tutorials that I come across that you can check out to utilize some of these more obscure shapes if you're not sure what to do with them and if I don't have a tutorial for them yet. So check for that down below if you are a subscriber to this club and you're kind of stymied on what to do with some of these things. The next item is a container of alabaster vexillos. I am really excited that we got some of these. This is a product I'm going to be featuring very soon in an upcoming tutorial. I have a bracelet that is going to utilize these and the 2-hole wide duo beads that is really cool looking. So stay tuned for that. As you can see, these are a wedge-like shape, kind of like an isosceles triangle with some dimension there on the top and then a flat base. There's the 2 holes running through there. So you can do all kinds of things with these beads, put them together and they can make for a really pretty beaded bezel, and they start to form a round shape as one example. And again, we have that kind of creamy, translucent, stark white color in this alabaster. For our next container, we have these metallic matte purple Helios Parpuka beads. I absolutely love this color, such a pretty satiny lavender shade. And I recently shared a tutorial using these helios beads called the poolside bracelet. I will try to link that in the corner. They remind me of a little tulip flower or something. They have a fan-like shape, and there's the two holes that run from that pointed end and out through the wider end. I don't have this color, and I'm really excited to get some more of those to play around with. For our fifth container, we have some of that same gorgeous purple color. These are the metallic matte purple Telos Parpukas beads, a triangular shaped 2-hole beads, kind of flat. And I also have a tutorial I recently shared called the Cutting Corners Earrings that uses this particular shape. So I will try to link that one as well. I like having some tutorials as time goes on using these more challenging shapes to give you guys ideas on what you can do with them, because there's really so many possibilities. But there you can see the triangular shape, the 2 holes that run parallel through the bead, going from that flat base and out through either side of the point. Love that satiny, gorgeous purple color. And then what would a 2-hole Beads of the Month Club be without super duos? We're bringing back that pastel lime color, which is really kind of a tone of gold. Again, a satiny finish. I can see where it's kind of a greenish gold. And this is actually nice. You can see the difference between a super duo and one of these SO beads. In fact, I will put one of them next to each other so you can see the difference. On the left, we have the SO bead, and on the right, we have the super duo. So you can see how the face of the bead is a little bit different. The super duos are more elongated, while the SOs are a more round, circular shape. And the profiles are slightly different too. The SOs have a little bit wider of a profile than the super duos, but just slightly. They kind of make that same ellipse-like shape, but you can see there's the SO and there's the super duo. So that was a good little teaching moment. I try to give you guys some of those little tidbits as best I can as I know them. I certainly don't know everything about these beads for sure, but I'm definitely learning more and more as I go. All right, so our 7th container is called Vega on Chalk Horizontal Fixer Beads, and these are really interesting too. We're getting some that I think are even more unique to the 2-hole Beads of the Month Club than I'm used to getting. These fixer beads, we'll take a closer look at these. First of all, this is one of my favorite check glass colors to work with. That purple chalk luster is just gorgeous. So these are a square shaped tile-like bead. You can see the holes that run through either side. And if you flip it over, they have this groove right there in the middle. They're also just slightly rounded. And from what I understand, these are great for holding in crystal stones like your rivolis or different types of cabochons. They can be held together with this ridge, and these fixer beads can be kind of strung together in this manner. Pretend that they make a rounded shape if you put several of them together, and then the stone or your cabochon would sit right there in that groove, and these create kind of a structural looking frame around that stone. So really interesting. Hope I'll get a chance to play around with these sometime soon. And these are the horizontal variety. There's actually a vertical variety as well. And I believe they have 4 holes, 1 at each corner, which present us with even more opportunities to use those as a specialty frame. And for our 8th container in this 2-hole Beads of the Month Club is the Vega on Chalk Baroque cabs. Again, with our purple chalk luster. These are a little bit dustier, a little darker, and duller in tone than the fixer beads. So you can see how these Baroque cabs have that dimpled shape on the top. They're like a little mini cabochon. There's the 2 holes that run through the base of the bead. So something that you could bead around. And these always make me think of the center of a flower. So if you were going to bead around these, you know how inside of a flower, they usually have that dimpled texture, lots of texture of some kind. Just imagine some petals surrounding that. So that is everything for the 2-hole Beads of the Month Club that I received for the month of August in this lilac lane theme. I think they did an excellent job putting these colors together. You get some beautiful lavender, purples, but also some of these neutrals, which will work well with lots of different colors maybe you have in your stash as well. And such an interesting mix of shapes to play with. Like I said before, they do have a double version of this club where you would get twice as many beads. So you would still get 8 containers. The containers would just contain twice as many of each amount. But I find personally that even with a single club, there's still so much to work with. I find that I'm able to come up with lots of interesting projects. And it works out perfectly for me because I'm not left with a lot of the same thing left over. And I also like being able to try. The other club that I'm really interested in particular, called the Hot and Trendy Beads of the Month Club. So each of these costs $22.95 per month plus shipping. The shipping does go down if you sign up for multiple clubs. And they also have a rotating club, which will rotate you through each of the 6 different clubs that they have to offer, and you'd get a different one each month. I've shared that a lot here as well. And you can find playlists for all of these things on my channel. Something else I want to mention too before we get into this one is that they do provide a link each month that changes. They put that on the bottom of your invoice, and that leads you to their free patterns page for that particular month, where you can find patterns to download and print out instantly, which often incorporates some of these more interesting and unique shapes of beads. Another great perk of the subscription. So here's our hot and trendy. It's called Razzle Dazzle, and we've got 8 more containers of check glass, high quality beads to take a look at. And again, this is the single version of the club. They also have a double version. And I am going to get organized and we will look at each one of these containers one at a time. All right, guys, we're kicking off this club with the Jet Full Slipperit Daggers. Aren't these absolutely stunning? Look at the color play on these metallic finished daggers. They're super shiny and there's a lot going on in those. These are definitely a bold bead. There's a lot of magenta, purple, deep cobalt blue, and then as you turn them, you get silver and gold as well. So a lot of different things going on, and they would go with a lot of different beads because you could pick up any of those particular colors that you find in this finish. I just love how they kind of give a different cast depending on which way the beads are turned. And these, of course, are great for making beaded flowers. As one example, they have the hole that's running through the top of the bead, and you put a lot of these together and you can really make a big impact. Next up, we have the Jet Full Slipperit Side Drill Teardrop. That was a mouthful, but here is that container. So that same kind of finish that we saw on the dagger beads, this time in these tiny little chubby teardrops. They're so cute. There's the hole running through the top of the bead, just through that pointed portion. They are rounded on the bottom all the way around. These would make for a really cool accent used with those daggers in some way. And again, you get all those different colors being pulled in depending on where the light hits them. And you could use these with all different tones of metal findings as well. Not only like hematite, but also silver and gold, which is pretty unique because they bring in both of those tones in that finish. These actually look really neat together, don't they? That's not really the point. These 2 different clubs don't necessarily need to coordinate, but I like how that's starting to look with these beads all together. All right, so the next container I have, these are called Jet Full Sunset Pip beads. That beautiful coppery burnt orange color on the hematite in the background. These are a flat teardrop shape with the top drilled hole there at the pinched top. And some of these also pull a little bit more pinkish depending on how the light hits them, and some pull a little bit more orange. That's a beautiful, shiny, metallic combination. And again, these are great for beaded flowers, and you could also use them as some pretty delicate beaded fringe depending on how you want to use them. Next up for container number 4, we have some jet hematite round trios. Very cool. So this is a great example. If you sign up for the Hot and Trendy Club, you may also get some 3-hole beads, not just 2-hole. You also may get 1-hole. It's just all kinds of different things that you could possibly get, but they're going to be different and unique and great for you more adventurous beaders who are looking for that sort of thing. So here we have these round glass beads, like a basic round, but they have 3 holes going right through the center. So they present a really unique opportunity for bead weaving to do all sorts of different things. I have seen quite a few projects for these on Potomac beads in particular. And like I said, I will try to link a blog post down below. It's something I want to start doing more of, where I will link you to different projects that I find along the way using some of these more unique shaped beads so you have a better idea of what to do with them. And then next up for container number 5, we have these jet hematite Telos Parpukas. So that same very glossy, metallic, deep charcoal gray color and finish that we saw in the round trios. This time in the little Minos beads, you can see that little cylinder or barrel shape with 1 hole going through the center. These work particularly well with the Orchid Parpukas, the way those are rounded with the 3 holes and these kind of fit right in the center. But you don't have to use those parpooka beads together. You can use these with anything you want. The sky's the limit. And they're kind of nice for adding a little circular pop of color if you need something to fill in a particular size space. And this is something, if you put them together in a ring, they could also be used to form a bezel of some sort. So we get lots of these in this container. These containers are actually deceiving. It's amazing how much you get to play around with even just the single clubs. And then next up we have the jet hematite Telos Parpuka beads, another very unique 2-hole shape in that jet hematite color. And here is a closer look at these. They're such an interesting shape. You can see the 2 holes that are in either corner of those. And this is another shape I haven't really played with yet. I've seen these in different patterns in bead weaving, and I think they could make for a really interesting structural element. They look like a chunky old school cell phone, just missing the antenna at the top. And then next we have the jet full slipperit bridge beads. So we're bringing back more of that colorful metallic finish. And here are the bridge beads. These are another 3-hole shape, kind of look like a bracket. There's the 3 holes, 1 going through the center and 1 going through each side. And these make some really interesting frames. You can frame out other beads with these. Depending on how many you put together, you can make these into some type of a bezel as well. You can have them going in opposite directions, and quite a few to play around with in that container. I'm really excited to get that shape. And then for our final and 8th container in this club, I received the pink Metal Lust cube beads, which are this beautiful shade of kind of a bright magenta, rosy pink. And we've been getting these cubes a lot. I'm not drawn to this shape as much, just to be totally honest, in the Hot and Trendy Club, just because I feel like they're not that exciting. I mean, they're a very pretty bead. They're a rounded cube. I like working with cubes. I have tutorials on cube beads, and I like the finishes. I like these satiny metallics. I think they're definitely pretty, and I think I just need to work with them more to come up with some more interesting things to incorporate these chunky rounded cubes. So don't get me wrong, I really do like them. It's just that we get these a lot in the Hot and Trendy Club, so they're not quite as exciting to me getting a 1-hole cube shape with the hole that runs through the center. That's all I'm saying. So isn't this a beautiful collection? Actually, both of these on their own or together. It's just a beautiful array of these 16 containers and the 2 different clubs of all different shapes and sizes and finishes of these beads, all very high quality, and a bead weaver's dream to get a surprise mix of different things like this in the mail. So I think they did an excellent job once again. They also have a findings companion pack that you can read more about on their website that I've shared in other videos, which is an add-on, and it contains some very high quality, unique, beautiful findings to go along with your unique and beautiful high quality beads. Their customer service is always fantastic as well. That's something I like to bring up about this particular company. They have not only a phone number, but their email address, and they do respond very quickly to customer questions and concerns. And they really want to do a great job and make you guys happy, which is awesome to see. So I hope you enjoyed this unboxing. It was certainly fun for me to share all of these beautiful beads with you guys. I love to do this so you can get an idea of if these particular subscriptions are right for you and your style and your budget. Please feel free to leave me a comment down below. I love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you think about any of these particular beads or your experience with the Beads of the Month Club, anything else you'd like to say. Don't forget to use that coupon code OPAL10, OPAL10, if you'd like to save 10% off the first month of your first subscription if you'd like to try them out. And the link to their subscription, that coupon code, and the blog post I will try to be updating is down below the video in the description section. I hope you guys will stick around with me for much more to come, and in the meantime, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. And as always, happy beading. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. For more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of my latest videos. You can check out the information section below this video for links to all my social media handles, recommended products, and my shop and blog at orchidandopal.com. Thanks for watching.